Ever wondered why New Balance has become a household sensation that's on the rise year after year? Reeling in a whopping $5.3 billion revenue in 2022 alone, a 21% increase on the year prior. What's the deal with these quirky chicken prints inside some of their shoeboxes? And just how drastically has the dad shoe trend impacted the brand? Well, we are here to dive into the captivating story of New Balance to uncover all the juicy details behind its global successes. Back in 1906, when Puma, Nike, and Adidas weren't even on the sneaker scene, there was a brand being born in the heart of Massachusetts, the New Balance Arch Company. But before we step into the intriguing journey of this sneaker powerhouse, let's get to know the visionary behind it all, a man by the name of William J. Riley. Now, William wasn't born into opulence. He hailed from a humble family in the heart of Boston. From a young age, he had this insatiable curiosity, always wanting to know how things worked. And as he grew older, he got super interested in stuff like the human body, its anatomy, and how it moved. William's goal was clear. He wanted to make life better for people, especially those who grappled with physical discomfort or pain. With unwavering determination, he set out to find practical solutions, venturing into the world of orthopedics and orthotic devices. His life would take a surprising turn when he began noticing something quite unusual. It all started with chickens strutting around in his backyard. Riley was absolutely fascinated by how those feathered friends of his managed to keep their balance while they waddle around. So he decided to take a closer look at the three-pronged footprints they left behind in the dirt. As he examined them, he realized there was something truly extraordinary about the way weight and support were distributed in those footprints. Now, Riley wasn't just content to marvel at chicken footprints. No, he had a visionary moment. He thought, what if I could apply these chicken-inspired principles to human feet? He believed that if he could create a shoe that offered the same kind of support and balance that chickens naturally had, it could be a game changer for people with all sorts of common foot problems. And there you have it. Riley's quirky chicken observation laid the foundation for what would later become the iconic New Balance Arch Support System. Who would have thought that chickens could inspire something so revolutionary for our feet? But Riley made it a reality, and in 1906 he founded the New Balance Arch Support Company. But can you believe that for a shoe giant like New Balance, they didn't even start making sneakers until a whopping 30 years later? His first product was flexible arch support. These arch supports were designed with 3 support points to improve comfort and shoe fit, a mission that the business continues to carry today. Initially, he sold these arch supports to people who spent long hours on their feet, such as police officers and firefighters. While the arch supports were well received, it wasn't all smooth sailing. Nope, the Great Depression came knocking on Riley's door, and it brought some hefty challenges with it. But you know what they say, when the going gets tough, the tough gets going. Riley rolled up his sleeves, adapted, and even diversified his product line to keep the ball rolling. And that's some good old American ingenuity for you. In 1927, Riley hired a salesman named Arthur Hall, who eventually became a partner in New Balance Arch Support Company. Little did they know, this partnership would turn into something big. Now, Hall focused the business on selling arch supports to people who needed some extra comfort while on their feet all day. Fast forward to 1938 and something exciting was brewing. New Balance took a leap and crafted their very first running shoe for the local running club, known as the Boston Brown Bag Harriers. And who's the mastermind behind this shoe? None other than Riley himself. These weren't your ordinary kicks. Riley's brainchild featured a crepe sole and was crafted from kangaroo leather. Fancy, right? But this was just the beginning. New Balance had found its niche, and they were ready to sprint ahead. They started designing specialized footwear for various sports like baseball, boxing, and tennis. Athletes and trainers alike couldn't get enough of these shoes. As time rolled on, New Balance kept on growing and pushing the boundaries of innovation. They introduced new technologies and materials to improve the performance and comfort of their shoes. Hall eventually sold New Balance Arch Support Company to his daughter, Eleanor, and her husband, Paul Kidd, in 1956. Back in the swinging 60s, New Balance arch supports were all the rage among up-and-coming athletes. These young sports enthusiasts loved them so much that they started knocking on New Balance's doors, begging for customized shoes. That's when Eleanor and Paul Kidd decided to further enhance their expertise in the sneaker industry. In 1961, they unveiled their masterpiece to the world, the Trackster. This wasn't your average run-of-the-mill sneaker. It was the world's first running shoe with a rippled sole, giving athletes the grip they needed to conquer any terrain. But that's not all. New Balance knew that athletes came in all shapes and sizes, so they offered the Trackster in various widths to make sure every foot was happy. Soon enough, schools and colleges across Massachusetts couldn't resist the allure of the Trackster, adopting it as their go-to track and cross-country shoe. Yet, despite this regional success, New Balance was still a small operation. Can you believe that only 6 dedicated people were running the company, crafting, packing and shipping their products to mail-order customers? Yes, only 6 people. Not surprisingly, their sales were slow until fate stepped in. On the legendary day of 1972, Boston Marathon, New Balance was purchased by Jim Davis. He took the brand from a small operation to a global sneaker giant. In the late 1970s, New Balance rode the wave of the running craze, not just as spectators, but diving right into the heart of the running community. They didn't just make good products, they made the absolute best. This was all thanks to the visionary leadership of Davis, who crafted a culture of responsibility and excellence. But New Balance didn't stop at just making exceptional sneakers. They decided to give each pair its own unique identity, ditching the fancy names in favor of good old numbers. These numbers told you everything you needed to know about the shoe, what it was built for, whether it was all about stability or speed. Then, like a meteor streaking across the sneaker scene, the New Balance 320 burst onto the stage. It was the first shoe that proudly displayed the iconic N logo we all know and love today. The crowd went wild, and the Runner's World magazine crowned it the #1 running shoe. Fast forward to the 1980s, and New Balance had a global empire on its hands. Not only were they ruling and running the shoe realm, but they'd expanded into walking shoes and even snazzy Gore-Tex running jackets. Then in 1988, they dropped a bombshell in the sneaker world, the 574. Originally designed for running, it soon strutted off the track to become a fashion icon in its own right. New Balance was now a fixture in sportswear and pop culture, thanks to a string of smash hit sneaker releases. And then, in 2001, they unleashed the legendary 992 sneakers. You might remember them as the pair Steve Jobs rocked at public events for years. Yep, that was New Balance, consistently keeping pace with style and innovation. In recent years, the world witnessed a resurgence of interest in retro and vintage fashion. This cultural shift led to a renewed appreciation for comfortable, unassuming footwear. New Balance, with its classic designs and unparalleled comfort, was perfectly positioned to capitalize on this trend. Suddenly, sneakers that were once deemed uncool became the epitome of coolness. The brand's retro designs, comfort and durability have earned them the endearing nickname of dad shoes. As the dad shoe craze started to gain momentum, the fashion gods smiled upon New Balance as they leaned into this trendy new aesthetic. Celebrities and style icons like Hailey Bieber flaunted the latest New Balance releases, gave the brand a stamp of approval, catapulting it into the fashion elite. They even ran an ad in 2019 that said, "Worn by supermodels in London and dads in Ohio." New Balance isn't just making sneakers, they're crafting a fashion revolution. They're teaming up with Japanese streetwear legends like Bape and rubbing shoulders with high-end fashion royalty like Dior. These collaborations have transformed New Balance sneakers into wearable masterpieces. From the ingenious minds of designers like Salehi Bembury and the aesthetic perfection of Jound to the urban chic of Amélie Ondor, New Balance has been on an upward trajectory for 4 years straight. Just between 2021 and 2022, they skyrocketed with a jaw-dropping 128% surge in the resale platform StockX. Today, if you peek at the largest shoe brands in the United States, you'll find New Balance right there at 5th place, behind Nike, Adidas, Puma and Skechers. Remarkably, New Balance raked in a record-breaking $5.3 billion in revenue in 2022, and their sales are sprinting ahead even bigger rivals, Nike and Adidas. CEO Joe Preston has even dared to dream of a $10 billion milestone over the next few years. But their journey isn't just about numbers, it's about roots firmly planted in the USA, now spreading across 120 countries. From the United States to the United Kingdom and Asia, ensuring top-notch quality worldwide. As we look forward, New Balance isn't hitting the brakes, they're slamming on the gas pedal of innovation. Sustainability has become their battle cry, with eco-friendly materials and processes making waves in their production lines. They're not just about performance anymore, they're expanding their lifestyle offerings while still delivering comfort in spades. In a nutshell, New Balance's story isn't just a story, it's an anthem to innovation, quality, and the unexpected charm of dad vibes in fashion. From humble beginnings inspired by chicken arch support to becoming a global fashion titan, New Balance proves that sometimes the most unexpected journey leads to the most astonishing success. See you in the next video.